the first time that I really enjoyed Michael B. Jordan was in That Awkward Moment with Zac Efron and Miles Tellers, and he was actually really hilarious in the film. Then Fruitvale Station, directed by Ryan Coogler, was really where I became a giant fan of his. Fantastic Four, maybe not so much.
1, 2, 3, 4!
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Mr. Teach Film Preach, and if you're a lover of films like I am, and if you learn from films as much as I do, then you are in the right place. And if you're in the right place, click like down below and subscribe. What did you guys think of Without Remorse? Did you enjoy this film? Was it crazy? Was it action-packed? Or was it just sort of okay? Let me know in the comments down below. That would be wonderful. Love to hear your thoughts. This is the Tom Clancy action thriller revenge film called Without Remorse. This movie stars Michael B. Jordan in the role of John Kelly, Navy SEAL operative, special forces guy. He's basically the Terminator. One night his wife is tragically killed, and in a home assassination attempt on him, and he is able to survive, and this puts him on the path of revenge for his wife. That's the only thing that's kind of pushing him forward, and figuring out why this was being done to him after all these years of serving his country. And so there's a whole political plot story, there's a whole secretive CIA government conspiracy wrap-up story. This is a pure adrenaline action film, revenge film. It moves at a clip pace. There aren't many times where this film really slows down. They show action right from the start. The very first images, like guys coming out of the water, taking down some of the men that they have to in this first mission. But I love that this mission at the beginning that they show really ties into the rest of the film, and that it has actual consequences that affects the entirety of our characters, it affects the entire plot line, and really drives the movie forward. It wasn't just a chance to show John Kelly in action and how badass he is, also how this is going to affect him from here on out. First thing, the action is really great. It is almost so realistic at times, it's scary. Military operations, and they talk back and forth to each other to try and infiltrate certain positions to bring down their enemy. I loved the dialogue. The tactics that they used seemed very real. The stakes felt high at times. There was always this sort of built-in tension around the action that felt very life-threatening at times, and that's how to do action really well. Appreciate that about this film. Michael B. Jordan as John Kelly is awesome. You totally buy in that he is this elite Navy SEAL, amazing assassin and soldier who has lived and almost died for his country multiple times, and now is facing this horrible tragedy, and how is he gonna come out through it on the other end? A killer and a soldier, and being hard as a rock, and then where he's like with his wife and he's really nice and sweet. At sort of contrast for this character, you got to see two sides of him, and really love that. I thought Michael B. Jordan did a really great job in this film. This maybe isn't my favorite role by his, but he is very strong and believable in this role. Tom Clancy adaptation from his book. It's in the same vein as Jack Ryan and All Those Adventures. I love how serious they take the action and the implications it has on our characters and the situations that come about. A movie I reviewed recently, Nobody, which I really enjoyed, but I said in that film, I felt like the action scenes with the guns, the shootouts were just kind of shootouts. This movie, the gunshots felt so visceral and real. It kind of almost reminded me almost of the movie Heat. Nothing will ever beat that shootout, but this was pretty close. It was done so well, and the sound design of the bullets, and I really enjoyed how the guns came off in this movie. Whether they're accurate or not, I have no idea. Some of the action scenes I was really impressed with. When the plane crashes and he has to dive in the water to go get that package, because that's what's going to save him and everyone else on the team when they're, trying to break into Russia. And that whole situation was really breathtaking and handled extremely well. Stefano Sollima, the director, is really great at showing visceral action and the tension built around it as well. He did a great job with Sicario, Day of the Soldado, does a really great job of the action aspect of that film. And here he transfers that over into the operative world, and I really enjoyed the style, the feel, the tone, the intensity that they created in the action sequences in this film. You could tell that this is written by Taylor Sheridan, who had also written movies like Sicario, Hell or High Water, Wind River, and I love all three of those films. He's also done Yellowstone. You could tell that this is in the same vein. He wrote this script along with Will Staples, and I thought that they crafted an interesting story, even if it was just simply pretty much a revenge story, at least for our character of John Kelly. Where this movie to me falls kind of behind in areas is the plot points. I felt like there were some things that just happened. We need to have a little bit of a diversion here, so then this part will really stand out. Like when John Kelly goes to jail, that whole side detour wasn't really necessary. It didn't need to be a part of the story. They just wanted like a cool action scene in a jail cell where it shows how badass John Kelly can really be. And I enjoyed that scene. He's putting the water all over him. That was awesome, but it was unnecessary to the story. And I found there was a few scenes here and there in this film that I was like, that wasn't necessary. It's only an hour and 50-minute film, but I felt like, yeah, there could have easily been 5 minutes trimmed off of this movie. And that's saying something because this is mostly a pure adrenaline action film. Some of the plot points in this movie, oh boy, you could see coming from a mile away. You could drive a semi-truck through those plot points. Or you could predict the outcome, the red herring that they put, like who is the person that betrayed them and betrayed Michael B. Jordan and the operatives on that mission at the beginning. Is it this guy, Jamie Bell? He's quite mean and aggressive and kind of an asshole and stuff. But to me, the red herring was so obvious at times that I felt it so predictable. Like I called it with my wife about 15-20 minutes into the film.
Bloodlines of Conquest books, read ahead and spoil the whole series for you.
That's insane. That's something an insane person would do.
And so in that way, I just wasn't surprised by the movie with its story. And to me, that's what kind of pulled it down. It wasn't too original. It didn't really have anything new to say. That's okay, because I feel like the movie isn't really trying to go too deep and too in depth. But when the plot sometimes doesn't make sense, or if there's moments that you're like, what? That would never happen. It almost pulls us out of the realism of the scene, especially when they've worked so hard to have realistic action, realistic moments. Things like this could potentially happen. And it just kind of pulled me out of it at times and made me drop out of the film. I enjoyed the action and I enjoyed the story. I just didn't think the execution of the story was necessarily the greatest. Near towards the end of the film, where Michael B. Jordan's just sort of taking on everyone, and I'm like, is this him auditioning for the Terminator?
Hasta la vista, baby.
He is indestructible. He isn't supposed to be a James Bond character where you always expect and realize like James is probably going to get out of this situation. He's not going to die. Where I felt with John Kelly, like there was a really good chance that this could be a one and done movie and that was it. And so I was fearing for his life. And then all of a sudden he just starts like taking out people and grenades and just up on the roof and just spraying bullets, but very Terminator 2. I just felt it was a little bit over the top and a little reaching at times. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love the actors in it, like Michael B. Jordan, Jamie Bell, Guy Pearce. They were all great in this movie. The sequences and the scenarios that the writers and directors put these characters in were really interesting and compelling to watch. It just lacked a little bit too much on the story, the plot points, getting to certain scenarios just didn't quite make sense. It was very convenient at times. Getting into Russia was way too simple. It had a really great tone established and a nice, realistic sort of world that we were stepping into. Even if the action's a little bit over the top, I just felt like I was hoping for a little bit better of a balance from the filmmakers. But overall, it is an exciting film. I definitely say to check it out. If you really like Tom Clancy and any of his work or his films or video games that are based off of his books and his writing, definitely go check out this film. If you just want a really great, entertaining action film, revenge thriller film, then definitely go check this out. Middle in the grade, but maybe a little bit on the positive side mark. I'm gonna go ahead and give Without Remorse a B. Yes, it was a great film. What did you guys think of this movie? Did you think it was an amazing action film and I didn't rank this high enough, or do you think I maybe am giving this movie too much credit for what it was? I saw some of the grades that people were giving it, and I think it's got like a 5.7 on IMDb. I think that's a little rough. I think bring it up a little bit more. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and joining us today on Mr. Teach Film Preach. Come back and check out some more videos. I got reviews for films like Nobody, Godzilla vs. Kong, Justice League, and a bunch more as always. Hopefully everyone is outside getting to enjoy the nice spring weather and are staying safe and healthy. Have a great day, everyone, and as always, let's get Todd.